Right before wrestling's Attitude Era was what fans now know as the New Generation. While it didn't have the level of merchandise we would see with future generations of wrestling, toys were more than abundant. In 1997, WWF figures and toys were being made by 3 companies: Jakks Pacific, Just Toys, and Playmates Toys. While Just Toys and Jakks would continue their toys for many years forward, Playmates figures would only last briefly in 1997. Jakks Pacific had a deal with World Wrestling Federation to create action figures in the 5 to 6 inch scale. But virtually everything else was fair game. Enter Playmates Toys. Known for Turtles and Trek in the 90s, this would be their first attempt at wrestling. In total, Playmates Toys would offer 5 different assortments of WWF figures, first shown at Toy Fair 1997. WWF Grudge Match were cartoony 2-packs that featured feuds and grudges from the era. They were known to collectors for their bone-crunching action? That can't be right. I think someone else may have already been using that gimmick. Either way, Bret Hart versus Steve Austin, Goldust versus Savio Vega, Shawn Michaels versus Owen Hart, Psycho Sid versus Vader, Undertaker versus Mankind, and Yokozuna versus Ahmed Johnson made up the assortment. These Grudge Match packs came with rings, but they were a little too small for a good battle. Heroes of Wrestling were posed figures of WrestleMania 13 headliners Psycho Sid and The Undertaker. These originally sold for $19.99. They have a little bit of articulation, but that's pretty much all there is to them. The original look for Sid included red attire instead of black. I'm not sure I would have called Sid a hero of wrestling back then or now. The Mankind and Bret Hart were planned for a second series, but they wouldn't get produced. If larger toys are your thing, a 14-inch talking Undertaker was created. He only says 2 phrases.
Faced your worst nightmare. Rest in peace.
At the time, no Undertaker toy had as many tattoos as this one. Stretchin was released, and with all due respect to the manufacturers, these are a novelty at best. What I'm trying to say is, they suck. Shawn Michaels had grayish hair. Each were packed with belts. I'd open this to stretch it, but I really don't want to get my hands any more slimy than they already are. Saving the best for last, Ringmasters. This set originally advertised 8, but only 6 caricature figures would be released. Bret Hart, Goldust, Shawn Michaels, Psycho Sid, The Undertaker, and Yokozuna made it to retail. Andre the Giant and Stone Cold Steve Austin wouldn't make it. A prototype of Vader surfaced for what I am assuming would have been the second series. It was a tough sell for these figures. Finding a price sticker on these toys that doesn't show some kind of clearance deal is a challenge. Jakks Pacific was releasing far superior figures at the time, and Playmates made it clear they wanted out of the wrestling game when they sold their remaining inventory to Jakks Pacific. But when Jakks Pacific purchased the stock, they would use a sticker to cover the Playmates logo. I can't think of any other time this would have happened with 2 active toy companies. Jakks would make similar figures to these, called Ripped and Ruthless, which were somewhat reminiscent of the heroes of wrestling. These toys by Playmates are pretty common nowadays. For modern collectors, they're really not necessary unless you want to complete a collection of a certain wrestler. The stretch wrestlers are not necessary for anyone at all, whatsoever, never, 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 never. Playmates and the WWE would work together again in 2017 with a TMNT crossover line. Hey, that's all for today. I hope you enjoyed this look at another forgotten wrestling figure line. Be sure to check out our channel for more figure history. Grab a deal from us on eBay. And check out figurecollections.com for a complete database of over 40,000 figures, including everything you saw today.